The Text Effects Scale plugin will allow us to scale our font on, and it's found within the built-ins, the container plugins, and the text effects folder. You drag it onto the font, and within the properties there is a progress percentage here. So we can set keyframes at 0% progress and set a keyframe, and then advance our timeline here to 100 and set another keyframe. And when we hit play, you can see that this text now scales up. Once you have your animation, you can come in with the other settings here to adjust the scaling animation. So for instance, we have our direction. We can change the default setting of normal to opposite, and when you hit opposite here and hit play, it goes the opposite way. You can do it random. If we hit random, it will scale up randomly. And then we also have a static, a wave, a center, and two center that you can select as well. The effect range will affect the range of the scale, so how it affects from one letter to the other letter. We have the ignore space again, which will ignore space when it's on, and ignore the new line as well if you have multiple lines of text that you're scaling up. Our text order, as is, we have a selection here to change to horizontal. Once we change it to horizontal, we get our text direction right to left or left to right. And then we have our anchor horizontal, left, center, or right. And changing all of these settings will affect how this scales up. We also have a vertical selection up here. And again, that changes our text direction from up to down and down to up. And we have an anchor vertical then from base, top, center, or bottom. And again, once you play that, again, the animation will be different. We also have our use axis. And right now it's set to Y. We can also change it to any other axis by selecting it in here. So we have an X, a Y, a Z, an XY, an XZ, a YZ, and an XYZ. Again, by making a different selection and hitting play, you'll see what the different effects can do. As far as the size of the scale, you have your beginning balance here. So it's saying at the beginning of the animation, the scale is set to 0, so we won't see it. And the end scale is set to 1. If you don't want it to scale all the way down to 0, you can just set the beginning scale to whichever number you need.